Sup guys, it's Alex here, and welcome to the final Bracketology update before the actual Selection Sunday results and stuff like that. I might be live streaming or making a reaction video to the selection show. We'll see what happens with that. But right now, these are going to be my personal predictions. I'm assuming that Tennessee will win the SEC championship, Cincinnati will win the American, and then Rhode Island will win the A10, and the rest of the conference tournament winners and stuff, that's just based off of who's the higher seed. So I'm going to go ahead and get into these different region predictions. Now, I didn't go on Brackify.com to make the bracket. That's just because I have to leave for work in about half an hour. I work from 1 to 5, so that's not going to be fun at all. I'll be watching the games on my phone, but I'll be off in time for the Selection Sunday, and I'll be able to make the bracket for you guys to vote, just like I did last year, just like I've been doing with these Bracketology updates. So make sure you like and subscribe for that. Make sure you have those post notifications on. I want to hear what you guys say. And without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and make my predictions based off of these different matchups and stuff. So Virginia would obviously be the winner of UMBC and NC Central right there. And then I think that Missouri would beat Butler. Then we got Kentucky beating Marshall, and then Texas Tech beating UNC Greensboro. Then Miami, Florida, and St. Mary's in Texas. I'm going to go with the upset there. Miami, Florida's been kind of iffy this season. I know they got that win over North Carolina a couple weeks ago, but I'm going to go with St. Mary's / Texas here. I think that whoever wins that play-in game ends up winning the game right there. I almost forgot. I put the apostrophe before the Y. Oh well. Then Michigan will be Stephen F. Austin. That's going to be pretty obvious. And this one right here, I'm not too sure about. Nevada and Virginia Tech. I'm going to go with Nevada. I know they lost in their, I want to say, semifinal of the Mountain West Championship tournament. But I think that they'll be able to beat Virginia Tech. Then Cincinnati will beat Cal State Fullerton. Villanova will be the winner of Texas Southern and LIU Brooklyn. Then Alabama and Kansas State. I think Colin Sexton leads Alabama to the win there. And then Ohio State and San Diego State. San Diego State somehow ended up winning the Mountain West Championship as a bid thief, so I'm going to go with Ohio State winning right there. I think they've had too good of a season, and Bates Diop is going to lead them to a victory. And Arizona will beat Bucknell. Then I like Loyola Chicago right here, pulling off another 11 seed of a 6 seed upset. I am going to go with Loyola Chicago right there. They beat Florida earlier in the season at Florida. And TCU, I just can't get behind them. They have a pretty good offense, but I think that Loyola Chicago pulls off the upset there. Then North Carolina will beat Wright State. I think that Rhode Island will beat Creighton. And then Tennessee will beat Iona right there. So there's that side of the bracket. Let's go up here. I think that Kansas will beat Radford. That's pretty obvious. Then Providence and USC. I think Providence pulls off the upset there. Or not the upset. I think they pull off the win. They just upset Xavier on Friday. And then they took Villanova at overtime in the Big East Championship on Saturday. So that was pretty cool to see. I think they're moving on up in the brackets. Wichita State and Oklahoma / Arizona State. I think that Wichita State wins that one. Then Gonzaga will beat Murray State. Then Florida will beat New Mexico State. I know New Mexico State beat Miami, Florida in the Hawaii preseason bracket or preseason tournament, something like that. Now I'm going to go with Florida winning that one. Then Michigan State's going to beat Charleston. Then we got Texas A&M beating UCLA. UCLA's doing pretty good here at the end of the season, but I think Tyler Davis and Texas A&M are going to pull off the victory there. Then Duke will beat Georgia State. Then we got Xavier beating Harvard. I think that NC State will beat Arkansas there. Then I'm going to go with a pretty big upset pick here. I'm going Buffalo beating Clemson. Clemson has not been doing too well recently, and I think that the Buffalo Bulls are going to move on and claim an upset there. Then I'm going to go with another upset here. Mike Daum in South Dakota State. I now put SDSU. I'm not sure if that's their abbreviation. I think they're going to beat Auburn there. Auburn's a flailing team at this point. They couldn't even get out of the first round, or their first game of the SEC tournament as a 1 seed. They lost one of their best players a couple weeks ago. I think Mike Daum finally gets his NCAA tournament win he's looking for, and South Dakota State gets the victory. And Houston will beat Florida State. If they can win the American Championship, I'd move them up to a 5 seed. And West Virginia is going to beat Montana. Then I think St. Bonaventure is going to beat Seton Hall. And then Purdue will beat Lipscomb. Then for a spot in the Sweet 16, we got Virginia beating Missouri with Michael Porter. Then I'm a huge Kentucky fan, but I don't think they're going to show up right here. I think that Keenan Evans and Texas Tech pulls off the victory. Michigan will be the winner of St. Mary's in Texas. And then Cincinnati will be Nevada there. I think the chalk holds in that bracket so far. Then Villanova and Alabama. I'm going to go with Villanova right there. I'd really like to see Colin Sexton and Alabama pull off the victory, but I think Villanova moves on there. Arizona will beat Ohio State. Then UNC will beat Loyola Chicago, ending their Cinderella run. And then Tennessee and Rhode Island, I got Tennessee moving on. So the chalk holds there too. Let's move over here and see if we can get an upset. Kansas and Providence. I'm going to go with Providence right here, pulling off the upset. I know that they've lost to a couple of bad teams, but I think that they're hot right now. I know a lot of people are going to get mad for me picking somebody over Kansas, but I got Kansas losing right there. Wichita State and Gonzaga. I like Wichita State right there. Florida and Michigan State. Michigan State's going to move on there. And then Texas A&M and Duke. I got Duke moving on. Then Xavier and NC State. I got Xavier, not Xavier. Xavier moving on. And then I think that Mike Dowman, South Dakota State are going to move on there against Buffalo. Houston and West Virginia. I got Press Virginia moving on there, West Virginia, and Purdue and St. Bonaventure. I got Purdue moving on. So for a spot in the Elite Eight, Virginia and Texas Tech. I got Virginia winning that one. I think their defense is going to hold Texas Tech, and they're not going to be able to do much. Then I got Michigan right here, staying hot after winning the Big Ten championship last week. I think they beat Cincinnati to move on to the Elite Eight. Villanova and Arizona. I got Arizona right here. They are on fire recently. They got Sean Miller back. They got DeAndre Ayton, Alonzo Trier. I think that they're one of the hottest teams in the nation right now. They're motivated. The nation's been slighting them recently. I think they upset Villanova right there. And then North Carolina and Tennessee. I got North Carolina moving on. Then Providence and Wichita State. Providence's run comes to an end. Wichita State moves on to the Elite Eight. Then Michigan State and Duke. That might be the matchup of the tournament. Honestly, don't know who's going to win that, but I'm going to go with the chalk here. I think Duke and Grayson Allen and Wendell Carter Jr. and Marvin Bagley, I think they pull off the victory there. Then Xavier and South Dakota State. As much as I'd like to see South Dakota State win that, I think Xavier moves on to the Elite Eight. And then we got West Virginia and Purdue. I think Press Virginia moves on there against Purdue. Then first spot in the Final Four, Virginia and Michigan. I got Virginia moving on. I think their defense shuts down Michigan. Arizona and UNC. I think Arizona moves on past North Carolina and Joel Berry and Luke May. I don't think the defending champions will be able to defend their championship. Then Duke and Wichita State. We got Duke moving on. And then Xavier, I keep wanting to say Xavier. Xavier and West Virginia. I got Xavier moving on. I can't really say it. You have to excuse me for that. So there's the final four teams based off of my bracketology. I got Virginia, Arizona, Duke, and Xavier. Or Xavier, I can't say that. And then, moving on to the national championship game, Virginia, Arizona. I'm going with the upset. I got Arizona moving on to the national championship game against Duke. They're going to beat Xavier. Just excuse me, I'm not going to be able to say that right. And then the national championship game, Arizona, Duke. I'm going with the upset here. I think Arizona wins the national championship. I know not very many people at all are saying that right now, but I think they can do it. I think they're a really hot team right now. We'll see what happens. They just won the Pac-12 championship, so there you have it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Be sure to leave your reactions and thoughts in the comment section below. Make sure you like and subscribe to be ready for this bracket that's coming out here. I think around 6:30 or 7 is when I'm going to be posting it. I'm going to make the interactive bracket for you guys to vote just like I did last year, just like I've been doing with these bracketology updates. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys tonight for Selection Sunday.